All right, we're going to go ahead and get going, and got a full agenda, as you can see. So welcome everyone to our monthly Community Coalition meeting. Yeah, come on, let's get some energy, right? Feel like a game show host or something, right? Right, okay. So how many first-timers here today? Oh, nice, I love it. Right, so let's give them a special welcome. So this is our place once a month that we come and talk about really all the great things that we have in our community to support the work that we're doing to make our community be the best place it can be. So I'm Tracy Parsons. I'm the facilitator of these meetings in our Community Coalition group. All right, I think we got everyone. Okay, so that's a really important part of our Community Coalition meeting, right? Representation from all across our community. Right, just the place where you come and meet and connect and talk about partnerships and collaborations. So each one of these meetings, we highlight activities that are taking place. We talk about our coalition partnerships that are taking place. So we're going to bring Donna Tanner-Harold up. She's going to talk about Black mental health and the community conversations we've been having around this subject and topic. So thanks, Donna.
Okay. Good afternoon. I write things down whenever I speak because people go on and on. They say they won't, but they do. So I don't like to do that. I do want to invite you to our next presentation. It's next Thursday, March the 16th at Parkland, 9 to 11. And I want to talk a little bit about why we continue to have these things. I'm a licensed clinical professional counselor. I retired from Parkland as a faculty counselor last July. I have flyers in the back, so if you don't see these flyers, just really pay attention to me because you can pick up the flyers at the end. And I want to talk a little bit about why we continue to do these presentations. I have a long reason, longer, it's not real long, but a longer reason than I have a very to-the-point, direct reason at the end. Stereotypes, stigma, and a lack of access are among the main reasons why Black people do not seek mental health treatment as we should. How many of you ever heard of Taraji P. Henson? Okay, some of you have. Well, she's an award-winning Black actress, and she's spoken very openly about her struggles with depression and social anxiety. And her father, Boris Henson, he fought in the Vietnam War, and when he came back, he developed PTSD and bipolar disorder, and he attempted suicide. Now, Taraji, in honor of her late father, started a foundation in his name. And she's partnered with several other organizations throughout the country to support mental wellness and affordable therapy resources in the Black community. She's also launched a Facebook show called Peace of Mind with Taraji that focus on breaking through the shame and stereotypes of wellness and mental health for Black women. And she has a quote, it's pretty famous if you know Taraji and her work, and it says, "First of all, it is entirely impossible for any human to always be strong. I was always apprehensive of the term strong Black woman because it makes it seem like we don't hurt. And that is an unrealistic expectation that harms Black women every single day." So I love that she's just putting it out there. I'm not that Black woman, strong Black woman. I can break and I do hurt. Now there are a few hands that knew of Taraji. Have you heard of DeMar DeRozan? Less, and I thought it would be less. But he's an NBA superstar. He's currently playing for the Chicago Bulls. I think he played for the Raptors and the San Antonio Spurs. I'm a real sports family, so we keep up with all those things. But he's credited by many people, particularly people in sports, for changing the climate on mental health and the treatment in the NBA. For many years, NBA players, you know what NBA is, right? National basketball. Okay, just Well, make sure you're with me. And keep in mind that the NBA is roughly 75% black players, if not more than that. They're basically made up now of black players and international players. But they were really reluctant to admit that they struggled with any type of mental health issues. It just wasn't something that they could talk about freely. They were viewed as soft and weak. If they admitted, maybe they couldn't play, maybe they were struggling because they had mental health issues. So before the 2018 All-Star Game, and DeMar is an All-Star, he was in the All-Star Game this past year, again, if you watch those things, he tweeted out, "This depression is getting the best of me," and that's it. Kind of casually, just in his hotel or wherever he wasn't trying to make a big deal. He was just expressing how he felt in that moment leading up to that, and he has struggled, and he continues to struggle with anxiety and depression. He's actually quiet and reserved and not at all outgoing. But the social media post was met with widespread support because people who knew him and know him knew that he wasn't trying to do anything other than just honestly saying, "This is what I'm going through right now." But because of his vulnerability and his honesty, suddenly he became a mental health advocate. People viewed him as somebody that could speak for others. And he opened the doors for others to say, it's okay to not be okay, especially if you're black. You don't have to be super strong. You don't have to be super strong every day. And then about a month after that, Kevin Love, anybody heard of Kevin Love? He's a white NBA superstar again. Okay, this isn't a sports crowd. I'm not going to say anything else about it. All right, but anyway, you're getting the point and you're with me. That's what's most important. He wrote an essay that was published by a sport magazine called "Everyone is Going Through Something." And as a result of Kevin Love and DeMar DeRozan just opening up as superstar athletes, it shined a light on mental health, not only in sports, but for men everywhere. And they continue to speak and write and make PSAs and announcements about mental health issues with the goal of ending the stigma surrounding primarily anxiety and depression, although obviously there are lots of other mental health concerns that people face every single day. And their efforts prompted the NBA, now keep in mind this is 2018, so we're not talking about 1960. This should have been done a long time ago, but they now require at least one full-time mental health professional on every team staff. And that is a huge change and advancement. So that's a long reason why, because individuals like DeMar, Taraji, and Kevin Love, they're making a difference by being vulnerable and saying, we're not okay, and it's okay to say that. And my short answer is that there's more work to be done. That's why we continue to do these presentations, and we're hoping to do a longer, I can say that, right? A one-day conference, I already said. This fall with breakout sessions so we can address our own community, because we definitely have issues here and we need to start looking for solutions. So I have flyers in the back. Joycelyn, could you stand? This is another one of the presenters. And then Joe Amosagi, he is currently a counselor at Parkland. So pick up a flyer. Please join us in this conversation so that we all can create some change. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Donna. So a big part of each one of our meetings is our law enforcement leadership. So we're going to ask our chiefs to come up, and I think we have 3 of them here today to share a little bit that's going on within the community and their departments.
Apparently I'm going first. Okay, let's see. I've got 3 or 4 things to talk about. ABLE. I've talked about ABLE the last couple sessions. Our training for Train the Trainers is going to be done next week. So that's good, and we're working to launch the training for the whole department by the end of the fiscal year. So we should be done with that by July 1st. So that's good news there. Let's talk about staffing. Staffing is a challenge for everybody right now. It's certainly a challenge for us. The good news is we've hired 5 officers in about the last 2 months. They're in either the field training program or the Police Training Institute Basic Police Academy. But we've got more vacancies. So we've got 4 that are in the process right now. That doesn't mean they're hired. It just means we're looking at them as potential candidates. They have more testing to go through. If we successfully get those 4 candidates onboarded, we'll still have a couple vacancies left, including the chief of police. That being said, our staffing throughout the summer and fall months for 2023 is going to be very lean. I've got some pretty serious concerns about our staffing over the next several months, just because of sort of the totality of circumstances. You know, we've got people out on duty injuries. We've got people out on light duty status for medical reasons. We've got a number of people in training. And so all those things collectively have sort of created a situation where we actually have a fairly significant lag in staffing, serviceable staffing over the next, probably the end of calendar year. With respect to shootings, we've only had 3 since we last met, a total of 6 for the year. So that's good news. It's certainly not the pace that we'd experienced in years past. The 3 shootings since our last meeting, one was on February the 8th at about 1:15 in the morning in the 800 block of Oakland. One subject was shot. We did make an arrest in that case. There was another shooting on February the 10th at about 8:30 in the evening in the 1600 block of Ivanhoe Way. There were no injuries, no damage. We recovered some shell casings on scene. And then the last shooting we had was on March the 3rd, about 5:15 p.m. in the 2000 block of Water. Again, no injuries or damage. So again, a total of 6 shootings in the Urbana Police Department jurisdiction for calendar year 2023. So, any questions? Yes, Manny. Sure, absolutely. So the question was, can you talk about ABLE a little bit? Sure, ABLE is an acronym and it stands for Active Bystandership for Law Enforcement. It's run through the Georgetown Law School, and it is really intended to equip, in this case, police officers with an understanding and a knowledge base to help control situations. And I don't necessarily mean control situations like what happens, but in terms of things that they can control. They can control their own behavior. They can help control the behavior of other police officers. They can help control the behavior of other bystanders. And sometimes that means if Tracy and I are Tracy is the police officer and he stops me and I'm just really giving it to Tracy and I'm starting to get the better of him, Alice might step in and take Tracy's place. And it's really just an effort just to sort of keep things on an even keel. A number of times, people are reluctant to do that. And part of the training is sort of becoming aware of what those inhibitors are. So, for example, rank. You know, if Sergeant Tyler and I are on a call and I'm just a brand new patrol officer and Sergeant Tyler is doing something wrong, I might not feel free to say, hey, Sarge, maybe that's not the best idea. So it's sort of recognizing some of those inhibitors and kind of working through them. It's not a new concept. You know, they've been using it in the airline industry for 30 years. Hey, pilot, we're getting ready to hit the mountain. We should probably not do that. You know, it's not a novel concept, right? So that's sort of the nuts and bolts of what ABLE looks like. If anybody has questions about it, there's a number of videos that you can watch online. Just Google ABLE, A-B-L-E, Georgetown, and you can watch hours of videos about it. It's kind of a spinoff from a program out of New Orleans called EPIC that has met with some pretty good success. Yes?
Have you seen any changes so far because of it?
So we haven't implemented yet. We're still in the training process.
Okay. Is it causing any insights? Anything?
So we're in what's called the train the trainer process. So we're training our instructors.
Okay.
So my guess is that, you know, one of the things that is important about ABLE is really establishing a culture where it's okay to say something. And I think that at the Urbana Police Department, we have a pretty decent culture with respect to that and speaking up, but that's something we can always work on. And so that's the intent here, is that we're going to work on that. Any other questions? Many.
You know you got to be on the mic so we get you recorded.
You didn't want me to repeat it for you?
I have that teacher voice. What do you see as being some possible challenges that you would have to face just knowing what you know now, and how does this differ from the 10 shared principles that are implemented by the chiefs, the mayors, and the NAACP?
Okay, let's take those one at a time. What challenges do I anticipate with respect to this program? Was that the question? Well, obviously, there's the financial. The city council, last budget cycle, so for this fiscal year, I asked for some additional funds for this training because our training budget was fairly lean. The city council awarded us about $20,000 so that we could do the training. Other than that, the cost of the program is actually entirely free. Georgetown's not charging us a single dime for the program. That's just to not take police officers off the street and train them. This is so that I can dedicate their time to the training. And so then the other question was, how does ABLE sort of interconnect with the 10 shared principles? I think all the concepts that are involved in the 10 shared principles and ABLE overlap pretty well. Recognizing that there's an issue, treating people with dignity and respect, recognizing that people on both sides of the fence deserve some semblance of fairness and process. So, I think ABLE is really just sort of a continuation of some of those things that are sort of codified in the 10 shared principles. So, and I would add that 10 shared principles, Chief Seraphin signed the 10 shared principles on behalf of the city of Urbana and the Urbana Police Department, and we've codified the 10 shared principles in our police department policy. So, you don't want me to talk anymore, Tracy? Okay.
Good afternoon, fellow community members. Good afternoon, fellow community members. To date, regarding gun violence, the Champaign police have responded to 3,393 calls for service. We continue to address quality of life concerns. We've made over 385 proactive traffic stops. We're spending a lot of time in the school zones and near major pedestrian areas. And we continue our strong community engagement efforts, including attending neighborhood meetings, working with community business and organizations to make their facilities safer. And CPD staff even taught 3 merit badge courses to the Scouts on Saturday, March 4th. We've responded to 16 confirmed incidents of gunfire this year, just 5 since the last coalition meeting. This month, with the help of our community members, CPD investigators have also made arrests in 2 high-profile cases. On January 3rd, a shooting occurred in the 2400 block of North Neal. On February 9th, 2023, a Champaign man was arrested in Gary, Indiana, for his involvement in the January 3rd shooting that injured another Champaign man. He was transferred to custody of the Champaign County Correctional Center on February 22nd on charges including aggravated battery with firearms and attempted first-degree murder. On January 3rd, shooting in the 2400 block of North Neal. On March 1st, a Champaign man was arrested following an investigation into an October 2021 shooting incident that injured Lam Grisser. He remains in custody of the Champaign County Correctional Center on charges of attempted murder, attempted battery with a firearm, and an aggravated discharge of a firearm. Your Champaign police continue to investigate every crime that takes place in our community. It takes good police work to put all the pieces together on complex cases, but it takes assistance from community members to make it all possible. As always, anyone with information on any crime in Champaign is asked to call the Champaign Police at 217-351-4545 or Crime Stopper at 217-373-8477 or 373-TIPS. Pending any questions or comments, I'll be followed by Chief Carey. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. As most of you know, that last Friday the 3rd was the unofficial, and so we kind of prepared for that. We didn't expect anything too major given the information we were given. But we went ahead and partnered with Champaign and the Liquor Commission, and we sent out an alcohol detail. We utilized a couple of our student patrol officers who were under 21, and we sent them into 9 establishments to purchase alcohol. 5 of those establishments failed the test, and so they were cited for sales to minors. So that night with our alcohol detail, we ended up with 5 arrests and 12 underage drinking citations. So thank you to Champaign and the Liquor Commission for partnering with us so we can, address some of those concerns with alcohol. We're looking at several events the end of this spring semester. We have a couple of concerts that we're providing security for at the State Farm Center, Illinois Race Weekend. We have commencement at the same time that we're hosting the Big Ten softball tournament. So our officers are going to be very busy with these events. And also, over the summer, we did an extensive risk management review of our campus safety and public safety on campus. And we looked for improvements and vulnerabilities, especially given the Michigan State incident, and see where we can improve our campus. So we looked at building access and camera system improvements and technology improvements. So we really took a deep look into where we need to improve those areas. And so we're happy to announce that we will be upgrading a lot of those systems on campus to even provide a safer environment. And finally, I forgot to bring the handouts for this event, but our community outreach and support team is hosting a Be Kind and Give Grace Raising Awareness for Mental Health and Suicide Awareness. So this is in remembrance of our late Aaron Landers, our lieutenant, who tragically passed away. There's going to be a raffle, and the first prize, the $10 raffles that you can purchase, and the first prize is $1,000. The second prize is $500, and there's several other prizes available. This will be held on Sunday the 26th from 2 to 6 at the City Center. There's going to be information most likely on our website. If I hadn't forgotten all the handouts on my desk, we would have that readily available. But if you're interested, you can go to our website and find that out. But there's no questions. Oh, there's one.
As our Unit for School children and children from around the districts are beginning to come to the University of Illinois to tour the campus and what goes on out there, are you planning anything among yourselves to build trust between yourselves and the youth that you will be running into from day to day?
Absolutely. Well, part of our team is a community outreach and support team. And, they go out and engage with our youth that are coming in. I know we're having a huge event for the engineering school, so we're going to have a lot of youth coming in to visit the engineering school. That's later this spring as well. But we do make every effort, especially with our PAL program as well. We're mentoring some of the children there at the middle school in Urbana. So we take, great pride in how we do that outreach, and it starts with our youth to build that trust and get that communication going on a one-on-one basis, so we get to know one another personally, despite the uniform. So we do take a lot of effort to do a lot of outreach with our youth.
All right, let's give our law enforcement leadership a nice round of applause. All right, so we're bringing up, it's always a privilege to have our mayors here, and we have the mayor of Urbana, Mayor Diane Marler.
Thanks, Tracy. I think the last time I spoke to you, we were just at the beginning of our process of allocating our American Rescue Act planned funds. So I wanted to share the good news that a couple of weeks ago, we finished that allocation process, and I'm very pleased with the results of that. So I wanted to share a little bit about that, as well as tell you about our next major project that we're getting underway in Urbana related to community safety. So, City of Urbana received just a smudge under $13 million in ARPA funds. We allocated several $100,000 to the Regional Planning Commission to contract with them to administer the money. When you get this much money at one time with this complicated process, we needed help with administering, so we contracted with RPC, and they have been a godsend. We took $2.5 million of that $13 million as a standard allowance, which is allowed by the U.S. Treasury. For revenue replacement, lost revenue due to our lower census count. For city services, including some employee COVID bonuses. And we allocated $50,000 for development of sites for the African American Trail in Urbana. I also have paper back up here. That left about $10 million for the rest of the ARPA funds. We worked very closely with the Urbana City Council. Chandra Bishop is here as a member of the Urbana City Council. She's still standing, but it was probably the single most protracted process I've been involved in at the city, but I'm very pleased with how it turned out. The City Council first worked to identify funding priorities for the ARPA funds. We kept in mind guidelines such as this is one-time money that was coming in. There was not going to be another tranche of $10 million arriving in our community. We wanted to identify service gaps in the community for both COVID recovery, but for where we saw services that we needed to bolster. And we wanted, as per the Treasury guidelines, we needed to prioritize the underserved, people who had been most impacted by COVID and the pandemic, and the minority populations. We also wanted to leverage the funds. We really, very early on, recognized that while $10 million is a lot of money, you can go a lot farther if you're partnering with other agencies and organizations to make long-term change. And community input and engagement was very important. That was also one of the Treasury guidelines. You needed to ask the community where they saw the needs were. So the council identified 8 areas or priorities: youth programming, public recreation space, community violence prevention, focus on affordable housing and make sure access and adequate affordable housing, job training, education and job placement opportunities, relief and support for local businesses, infrastructure investments, especially those geared toward health, safety, and resilience, access to mental health services, and addressing food insecurity. So these were identified as the 8 areas in which we wanted to concentrate these funds. An application was developed, a process was developed, and this was again with the assistance of RPC and city staff. Application period was opened from September through November of last year. And we opened it up to community organizations, agencies. We ended up receiving a total of 46 applications. 5 of those were internal from the city, and the rest were external, and the requests were for over $40 million. So, remember, we had 10. So that started the process of really winnowing down and identifying which we wanted to fund. There was a scoring process undertaken. Each and every applicant was invited to give a public presentation to the city council. There were multiple city council discussions in one town hall. Over a period of 10 public meetings, there was time officially dedicated on the agenda for ARPA discussions. So this was a process that took place over a period of months. The City Council came to a consensus on the allocation of funds, and the final vote on that was taken just a couple of weeks ago. So it really took about a year for us to get to where we have funded now. Oops, I'm getting behind. I really got behind on these slides. Whoops, no I didn't, sorry. We actually then ended up funding 25 projects, which ranged from $10,000 to $2 million for grants, totaling about $9.9 million. The next and last step in this is that the Regional Planning Commission will draft the agreements for each and every one of these 25 projects. They will monitor the progress. They have to file quarterly reports to the federal government on progress, and the organizations have until December 31st of 2026 to spend the money. The allocations have been published in the paper and they are available on the RPC websites, but just to highlight a few, some of the major allocations in terms of size went to organizations such as the Urbana School District. We're now helping fund the Freedom School, and the ARPA money of about $814,000 went to help pay for the renovations and programming in the Alternative Education Center, which is set up in the old Comcast building across from the middle school. Another large grant went to the Urbana Park District to help fund the construction of the Health and Wellness Center. This will be built on East Washington Street, just down the street from the Brookins Center, in one of the neighborhoods that has been underserved in the past, and it's going to fill a huge gap in the community in terms of a safe and welcoming space for youth and families. Grants went to the Champaign County healthcare consumers for an innovative approach for caring for chronically homeless and medically fragile individuals. And this is a tiny homes project. This was a project with the Champaign County Health Consumers, Carle Foundation Hospital, and the University of Illinois. It's really a novel approach to dealing with this is where another gap was seen. This is a population that's very difficult to serve, one that shows up frequently in the ERs, on the streets, and in need. So we're looking forward to that project. We helped fund the Low Barrier Strides Shelter in Champaign, the emergency shelter. Cunningham Township. We addressed a long-standing concern in the Dr. Ellis neighborhood over sewer laterals. And again, it's kind of a novel approach we're taking to sewer lateral lining, and ultimately that can be, and we're piloting in the Dr. Ellis neighborhood, and it can be applied citywide. And then some things were just as practical as having some money available for low-income people and seniors to do roof replacements. If you think about, if you want to stay in your home, one of the most expensive things you have to repair in your house is your roof. And so just having funds for that. And a lot of the other grants went to housing security, food security, and some other projects. So the complete list is on the table in the back of the room if you want to pick one up when you leave. All in all, I think this represents a wonderful investment in community health, in family health, in individual health, and healing from both the pandemic but from the traumas that our community has experienced. And when you think about, and someone said, well, what about community violence? And I said, every single thing on this list addresses the root causes of community violence, reducing stress in a household, stress among individuals, help repair relationships. That's where violence begins, and that's where our money is invested. So I'm excited about that, and the entire process, the list, and just about every bit of information you want about the whole process is located on the RPC website. So that's that. Next, our new and another enormous undertaking that we're about to get underway in the city of Urbana, and that is a community safety review. It's something that people have been asking for, especially over the past few years, but all of us around the country, and it was very clear. I was in Washington, D.C. for a U.S. Conference of Mayors meeting in January, and just about every mayor, no matter what size community they're in, are at some level thinking about how are we providing police and fire services, who's calling us, what do people need, who's responding to those calls, and who is best equipped to respond to those calls, and how do we match our response to the caller. And we're going to do it like we do a lot of things, which is look at it systematically. We've hired a firm called Barry Dunn. They're based in Portland, Maine, not Oregon. I keep wanting to say Oregon, but it's Portland, Maine, and have contracted with them to evaluate police and fire service delivery in the city of Urbana. This was a very high priority for the Urbana City Council. Council members Bishop and Colasetti actually served on the committee that evaluated the responses to our request for proposals and helped select the firm of Barry Dunn. We've asked Barry Dunn, and we're just getting underway. They're in town for several days this week for their first extended visit. They're going to examine our current operations. You got to know what you're doing before you can think about how you're going to change it. So they're looking at our staffing models for both police and fire department, looking at the calls for service. Again, why are people calling and who's responding? Police in Urbana get roughly, on the average, 25,000 calls for service per year. Is that right, Chief? Yes, okay. And I think fire, we're more like 5,000 or 6,000. And that has increased, and that's increasing as well. We're about reaching capacity, and everybody agrees, I think, that we're asking our first responders to respond to everything, even for things they're not particularly well equipped or trained to do. So it's time to start looking at how we're doing things. We're also asking them to review our current civilian police board model, our ordinance, our operations. Our CPRB was one of the first to be established in the state of Illinois. The ordinance hasn't really changed since it was established over 10 years ago, and it needs to be refreshed, revised, or replaced. So we're beginning to look at just how we're doing our civilian oversight. Barry Dunn will be reviewing and sharing with us alternative community safety models. They're going to be proposing an alternative response plan based on, after about this whole process is going to take about 18 months. So they've already started their requests for information, and it's a lot of data. But whatever you get out of a study depends on the quality of the material and information you provide. So we're going to be very detailed, very diligent, and provide as much information they need to make some reasonable recommendations. And the exciting part of this is we should get a plan for implementing an alternative response. I don't know what it's going to look like, how extensive a change it will involve, but the key to this, and what I appreciate about their approach, is that it's going to be customized to the city of Urbana. Because this is for Urbana, it's based on Urbana data, it's based on what's actually happening in Urbana, not Seattle, not Copenhagen, not San Francisco, it's what's happening in Urbana. And it will be customized to our capacity, to our size of our city, and to what's reasonable for us. And I'm excited. I don't know what we're going to get, but I think it's long overdue that we start looking at how we're doing things. And so this is a major undertaking. It's going to be a lot of work, but stay tuned. And there will soon be, it's not stood up yet, but there soon will be a website dedicated to this, so we'll provide updates. They'll provide updates on that, and you can kind of keep tabs on our progress. And hopefully I can come back and report once in a while. But this will be an 18-month, if we're lucky, project. Thanks.
All right, so April's going to bring some new, exciting information to the table for us.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name's April. Again, I'm with the Department of Equity and Engagement, and I'm here to talk to you about a platform called Bang the Table. It is a platform designed for engagement. So we have this wonderful meeting once a month where we come and we talk to you and we talk to each other. But then in between, there's, calling your friend, hey, do you know who that person is that they were wearing the black hat? I think they do something with RPC. And there's not a lot of engagement between everyone that sits together. So Engage Champaign is a good way for you all to engage with one another and engage with the city and with the coalition more specifically. So, and I should explain, Bang the Table is the platform. Engage Champaign is kind of what we're calling our site, for lack of a better term. So Engage Champaign is going to look like this. It is not yet launched, but it will be very, very shortly. I'm here to give you kind of a sneak peek, so when it does launch and you all get my email of, hey, go check out Engage Champaign, you know what it is, you know what to look for, so it's not as confusing. Because I know we all have many, many tabs open on our computers, so this will hopefully streamline it. So when you come to our Engage Champaign page, this will be at the top. And then I'm going to go through and just give you a quick look of where's the mouse? There it is. What it will look like when it's playing. So you have the top, and then you scroll down, and you'll see our 2 different projects. Ooh, they flew by so fast. At the bottom, you'll get a welcome video from our mayor, and then you'll scroll up, and you can pick between our 2 projects. These are piloted projects, so with pilots come hiccups. So please give us a little grace as we're working through this. But we will have more projects that come up as we continue to roll this platform out. Of those 2 projects, obviously, we are a Walk as One coalition, so you'll click on View Project, and it'll bring you to this page. So this page, I want to give you a quick little layout intro. So you're going to have our main picture. Hopefully, we'll keep that updated, and then a little blurb about the community coalition. To your right, you'll find all of our kind of logistical things, our meeting dates, our meeting agendas, our meeting minutes, even photos from previous meetings. So that is a kind of one-stop shop for things like that. Then down at the bottom here, you'll see what is called tools. And these are ways that we can actively engage with each other, and you can engage with one another. So the first tool that we're going to look at is on the far left, and it's called forums. So forums behave very much like kind of any traditional forum. I lost my forum page. Yes, there we go. So forums are going to behave like any traditional forum. So we'll pose a question on our end, and then you'll get to answer on yours. You'll also get to talk to each other. So if one person says, I'd like to learn about X, and you say, X is boring, I want to learn about Y, you can put that up, and you can engage with each other and, again, with us. You can also upvote things or downvote things. So we have a couple of test questions here that you can see, just tested out doing responses, but they'll be short, simple, to the point, because we want to know what it is you want to know about when you come here. We want it to be more than just something that pops up on your calendar. We want you to be excited to come and to know that we want you to be engaged with us. The next tool that we're going to look at is quick polls. So quick polls are just that. We ask a quick question, you give us an answer, and then all that feedback comes to us. For most of these tools, you will not need to sign in. I know we have more than enough accounts for everything, so you'll just be able to answer and then be on your merry way. There are some tools that will ask you to give an email or a username, but those are seldom. So quick polls, you just click on what you like, you submit, and those results come back to us. Other people will not be able to see your responses for this particular tool. The next tool is surveys, and I think this is really great, again, to make sure that we are hitting the mark. We think we know what you want to learn about, but if we're wrong, let us know. So surveys will allow us to put up the speakers, put up what they talked about, and then you can come back and tell us, how interesting was it? Did you think you learned a lot? Did you think, hey, this 10 minutes could have been spent better somewhere else? Let us know. And then the last tool is called Ideas. So this is a fun, more visual way to share ideas. So again, pose a question like, what do you want to learn more about? Hopefully something a little bit more specific than that next time. And then you tell us, what do you want to learn about? And again, other people can like it, other people can reply, and we just make sure that you are getting as much out of this meeting as possible. So that is the quick and to the point. I'm excited about this platform, and I hope you guys can be and will be too. Do you have any questions about how it might work? All right, fantastic.
All right, see, thank you, April. So, we've got all this great young talent Rachel's brought in as we've developed our equity engagement department. I'm the old dinosaur, right? And they come say, oh, we got this new platform. And I'm like, well, what's a platform, right? So they're bringing me up to speed, too, with all of these things here in our office. So next, Dr. James Harden here from Unit 4 Schools.
It's on. Good afternoon, everybody. Nope, good afternoon. All right, thank you so much. As we get to my presentation, I'm sure you don't know what I'm here to talk about, but I'll kind of guide you through some things here, okay? So first, before we do that, I just want to shout out on this day that's set aside to appreciate the women in our community. What a community we have, right? I'm talking mayors, superintendents, city manager, state's attorney, college president. I mean, all the way through. So thank you so much for just doing what you do and making.
I had that on my notes too.
Nope.
Record.
But it builds efficacy, right? I have a 14-year-old daughter. She can see it. She can be it. She can be all of those things because of you. And thank you for blazing the trail. And thank you so much. All right. Beat you. School attendance is what I want to talk about, though. Let's talk about that. So my name is James Harden, and I do work for Champaign Unit 4 Schools. I oversee attendance and community engagement. I oversee social-emotional learning as well. But today, this is what we're talking about. Now, here's what I want to do. Just like last time, I think I was before you sometime in October, and we played a little game, right? Thumbs up, thumbs down. We're going to do that again. Last time we played fact or fiction. Today we're going to play over or under. If you think the answer is over, I want a thumbs up. If you think it's under, thumbs down. Let's practice together. Over, under. All right, thank you. This is the honors class, I see. So let's go with the first one. Not sure what happened to number 4, just ignore it. So number 1, in Champaign County, an average of 1,500 students miss school each day. Over or under? Oh my. Over, do you think more students miss that? Or fewer in Champaign County? Okay, put your thumbs down. I'm just going to give you some hard facts right here. Currently, I can speak for one school district where we have 10,381 students as of today, and we have an average daily attendance of 88.5%. I'll let you do the math, right? There's another school district not far that I believe has 4,017 students that's nearby, and they have an average daily attendance about between 87 and 88% as well. There are some other satellite school districts in this area that also have in the high 80th percentile. So if you do that math with more than about 17,000 students, yeah, more than 1,500 students are missing school each day in this county. Over is the answer. Number 2, missing 2 days per month reduces a student's chance of going to college by 26%. Do you think it reduces more than 26 or lower than 26%? We got a good mixture here, thumbs down. So data's showing us that it's actually slightly under. It's not 26, it's about 25%. Yes, missing just 2 days per month, right? That makes a student a chronic truant, right? We have 9 months a year, 2 days per month. They'd be missing about 18 days of school, right? That's 10% of the school year. They reduce their chance of going to college, not just college in a 4-year capacity, but success even in career programs, right? They reduce the opportunity and the chance of graduating greatly. Number 3, in Illinois, a student is allowed to miss up to 3 days for family vacation. Over or under? I better not see any thumbs up. All right. No, you can't miss for family vacation. The answer is 0. No, no. However, Illinois is doing something really cool right now that we support, and we have to figure out how to continue to support it. There are a student may miss up to 5 days for mental health, right? And you know what? As a parent, I thought initially I was like, no, you're not missing school for mental. You're gonna tough it out. But a friend said, James, remember the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off? That kid needed a mental health day. That's what it was. You all played sick before, right? And not that we're proud of it, but sometimes, though we think it's light, it's heavy to a student. We need to continue to have those conversations. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, right? So I hope we have green ribbons and we're talking about mental health awareness, and I hope we're supporting the event at Parkland happening next week, right? All right. So the answer is no, 0 for family vacation. Number 4 is your freebie. So everybody's going to get at least 20% on this test. And number 5, local property values can be impacted by student attendance. Not sure how that ended up there. Here's the answer to that, though. Absolutely, your local property taxes are impacted by student attendance. I think we may have lost something between Google Slides and PowerPoint, but it's okay. Let's go to the next slide. Here's some things that you really need to know. Student attendance is one of the factors used to determine the funding for that your school or school district receives from the state of Illinois. We have to report student attendance. And it doesn't matter if that student is excused or unexcused. If you know the fancy words and say, my students are taking a sabbatical, it doesn't matter. That's the same thing as the parent that lies to us and calls and says, my baby ain't coming to school today. You're either present or you're absent. Yes, there are some ways that we code it, but when it comes to funding, you're here or you're not here. Number 2, student attendance is one of the factors used to determine a school's summative designation. That's like our public report card. Yes. Schools, we are judged, and that has an impact. Remember, I told you this 3 months ago when I stood before you. People buy schools, they don't buy houses. Right? I'm going to repeat that for the people in the back. People buy schools, they don't buy houses. So, when you buy a house in the community, when people buy homes, the first thing they often do is they check out the public schools. And if attendance is one of those things that can help us to look better, it will help us to be better. That's just real, guys. Number 3, there's a correlation between student attendance and property value, right? That kind of knocks into number 2. Number 4 is really interesting. There is a correlation between student attendance and involvement in local crime. Often, when I hear of something happening in the community or read the paper or watch the news or what have you, one of the first things I do is I get into our little magical computer system and I check that student's attendance. And even the students that have graduated, we find that they were chronic truants, many of them who have been involved in some of the shootings and some of the other things. Okay? So, it's okay, though, because, I just want to give you some Mabel Hardin wisdom. Mabel Hardin would say, either we don't know, we don't care, or we don't plan to do anything about it. Mabel Hardin had a 5th grade education, right? She would say, though, either we don't know. Well, you know now because I'm making you aware. Now we're stuck somewhere between no care and not doing anything about it. So, you're aware. Do you care? Don't tell me. I'm not going to look at you. I don't want to know. And do we plan to do anything about it? And, right, this is all of us together. Right? I'm not going to go to Chief Tyler and say, Chief Tyler, this happened. Can you go get all these? No, that's not the answer. Right? The answer, yes, it's the school's problem and it's our responsibility. Blaming the parents not going to get the kid to school and get that student into college any faster. We have to figure out together as a community, and that's why I always appreciate this time together. School attendance is a community issue. The schools need the help of the community. So I have an idea for you. I propose we create a task force specific to school attendance. Here's my thought. Now, I don't need a bunch of emails and text messages from all 49 of you in the next 10 seconds. But my thought is if we can start with maybe 12 people or so, and then we could create some subgroups or subcommittees as a community to start addressing. I think that Urbana may be okay with me speaking on behalf of that school district as well, right? Because we are all in the same boat. They're all our students. So this is just a thought that I'm having. So Tracy and I have bumped some things back and forth, and if this is something that you'd be interested in, I will hang around for a few minutes afterward, and then maybe we can talk. And again, I'm not asking for everyone to be like, hey, everybody come join the task force, right? You might say, hey, James, I have this affinity for early childhood, and I have this group that will blah, 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 blah. And I say, great, let me get a representative from there. And Ms. Pearson may say, James, NAACP is all, yeah, great. I just would like to create a small task force of all of us working together to see what it is we can do to improve student attendance. Okay? I'm going to say something that my superintendent always says. It's a great day in Unit 4, but it's an even better day when all the students show up. Every student, every day, no exception. Don't you love that face? And it's the truth. Right? Schools are social places as well as academic places, and students love school. It's where they see their friends. Okay? And I could not walk away without this. Like everyone else, we are hiring. Shameless plug. Thank you so much for your time. Test.
James Harden.
Yes, ma'am.
Ain't I a woman? This is Women's History Month. Ain't I a woman?
Ain't I a woman?
I didn't hear my name mentioned. I am the president of NAACP, and that is no small task.
I agree 10,000%. And You know how much I appreciate you, and I would walk across this room and give you the greatest, biggest hug in the whole wide world because I appreciate all that you do all of the time. So come on. Your leadership and advocacy is so important, and you know that.
I think we have one more question for you.
Right there.
Got to use the mic.
Do you have any data or information that you've gathered so far before assembling this task force? Are they supposed to look into the area, the things that are going on, and try to figure out reasons behind the low attendance or the erratic attendance?
I have lots of data, right? We're data rich. Before I just dump data, it's easier for me just to talk just general facts. But what I didn't want to dig too deep because I didn't want to get the hook or the look. So
Or both.
he's given me both before. So I would, if anyone is interested, of course, I will stay here all night and talk to everyone to see how we can organize task forces.
And is it broken out by areas, demographics?
Yes, I have data lots
on
of
it.
different ways, and I can share all of that
Okay, thank you.
as folks become interested in task force work, if you are interested.
All right. Thanks, Dr. Harden. All right. Great job. So I want to make sure I recognize today is International Women's Day. And with that being said, my new good friend, Jeanette Jersick, is here from That's What She Said to talk about their very important work community-wide.
Hello and good afternoon, and thanks so much for having us. I'm Jeanette Jersick, National Director of the She Said Project. This is my friend Emily Renee White, our Teens Program Coordinator, and it is an honor to be here on International Women's Day to talk about the She Said Project. So thanks for having us. How many people in this room have heard of a little show called That's What She Said here in our community? How many have attended a performance of That's What She Said? How many have stood on a stage performing in a production of That's What She Said? Yes, it's awesome. For those who do not know, That's What She Said is a one-night live storytelling event that brings together hundreds and hundreds of women in the community to uplift women, to build community, and to give a voice to stories that need to be told. Each show features 8 to 10 local women from all across the community who come together and develop a personal story from their life's experience, and they boldly and bravely stand on a stage and share that story in front of a live audience. And we have seen that when women come together and when we create a safe space for women to be truly heard and truly seen, that magic things can happen. We've built friendships, we've built community, we've talked about really hard things, and we've given other women and men and individuals permission to think about and talk about really hard things just by being who we already are, but by giving ourselves permission to be seen and to be heard. So that's our 2020 cast of That's What She Said, right under the wire, February 22nd. We snuck in that one. But what I'm really proud of with the She Said Project is we've been performing in this community since 2013. And with every show, we partner with a local nonprofit organization that receives recognition and also a percentage of the proceeds. And to date, we've given tens of thousands of dollars to local nonprofit organizations and some around the world. So we're very proud of that component and giving back to the community. I wanted to give you a little timeline just so you know what this organization has been up to. It was founded in 2013 by 3 local women, 3 amazing women in this community who looked at the world and wanted to figure out a way to make the world better for their daughters to grow up in. And so they came up with this concept of women sharing stories. I was fortunate to join the team in 2015. With my background in theater, I've been directing the live shows. But the first show was in October of 2013. Now, several years into these shows, we realized the power that we had by giving women a microphone, and we decided to do the same thing for teen girls in our community. So in 2018, we launched a program called That's What Teens Say in partnership with the Champaign Park District, and it is a 3-day intensive, which we're going to talk a little bit more about in just a moment. In September of 2019, I launched the first show in Bloomington Normal to see if That's What She Said would indeed be as well received in other communities, and it most certainly was. In October of 2019, we launched a podcast in partnership with our very own WILL station here on the U of I campus to share these stories with an even greater audience. And then during this fuzzy time in 2020 when we couldn't do any live performances, we actually shared 3 virtual shows on an online platform. So COVID did not stop us. We kept sharing women's stories. In 2022, I'm very proud to share that That's What She Said shows were launched in the cities of St. Louis, Allentown, Pennsylvania, and Peoria, Illinois. And in the summer of 2022, we decided to extend our teen programming and launch a summer internship program for teen girls. And just a week and a half ago, we celebrated with our 2023 performance of That's What She Said, celebrating that we've been here in the Champaign community for 10 years. And when over 200 women have been seen and heard on our stages, and over 100 girls have gone through our teen mentorship program, and this is just the beginning. But I'd like to introduce you to Emily, who's going to talk a little bit about our teen empowerment program.
My name is Emily Renee White, and I am the Teens Program Coordinator here at the She Said Project. And I've had the honor of working with Jeanette and closely with our teens for 12 months now. And I'm going to share a little bit about our 3-day empowerment program and also what we've been up to the last 12 months. So our 3-day empowerment program is based upon our show, That's What She Said. And during these 3 days, we invite teens from the ages of 13 to 18 to come together for 3 days to craft their personal stories based upon their life experience. So our teens, they give up their cell phones the entire weekend, and we work on relationship building activities, creative writing, improv games, public speaking, and we have an incredible time all 3 days. Our teens do pair up with our mentors and facilitators so that they can rehearse their stories, so that on Sunday, the final performance, they stand on stage in front of a live audience, our friends, family, and community members, to share these stories. Specifically, this program was designed by academic professionals and theater directors to empower teens to share their stories, to step into their power so that they can be leaders within our communities. Launching in fall of 2018, our That's What Teens Say program, we have impacted over 100 teens who have gone through our program. And coming up here in April 1st and 2nd, we have our spring That's What Teens Say, and applications and nominations are currently open. In my experience, it's been really inspiring watching these teens transform over 3 days. And when you help teens build confidence and you give them a microphone, they begin talking about topics that are really important to them, which includes mental health, bullying, body image, disabilities, coming out, and so much more. During our 3-day weekend, we do have special guest speakers, including martial art instructors, yoga teacher, life coach, nutritionists, and mental health counselors, which have been such a great enhancement to our 3-day empowerment program. Because we couldn't get enough of our teens in spring and fall, we decided to launch our teen internship. And this was in June of 2022. And we invited 6 of our alumni who have participated in our That's What Teens Say program. And I developed a 6-week curriculum that showcased our core values, which empowered teens to be resourceful, to gain experience, be accountable, and to step into leadership in the real world. So the work included transcribing episodes for our That's What She Said podcast and also closed captioning for our YouTube channel. We also had a special guest, Taylor Clay, who is our accessibility advisor, and she really taught our teens the importance of advocating for ourselves and those in our community. We also took a field trip to the U of I Credit Union, which really taught our teens about financial wellness and it showed them all behind the scenes and what the culture was like behind running the U of I Credit Union. So we've had an incredible time with our teens, and we look forward to continuing with our teens programming. Do we want to leave it up to questions at this time?
No, we got a little bit more.
Okay, there we go.
What I wanted to make sure we close on is a huge thank you to the Community Coalition. When we launched our teen internship program, we did receive some funding so that we could get it off the ground. And one of the things that we're looking to do this summer is to expand our program just a little bit. We're still going to run it approximately 12 weeks this summer. Our goal is to have more teens, 8 to 10 ideally. We want to add some new guest speakers and additional field trips for these girls to get some more real world experience. And we're looking to maybe add some compensation packages for the teens to get a stipend for participating. We really have watched them take the communication skills that they've learned in the 3-day program and now apply them to this real world internship program. So right now we're in our planning period from March till May, where we're raising sponsor funds and support and getting ready to open the applications for the intern program. Like Emily said, our 3-day empowerment program happens in April here in Champaign, and we're launching it in Bloomington Normal as well. And both of those applications and nominations are open on our website, which will be on the final slide. But what I'd really love to share is, would you like to hear just 60 seconds of what these teen girls have said about participating in this program? I do. Let's see if we get this.
Hi, I'm Izzy, and I have done That's What Teens Say twice. I came back for a second time because I just love to share my stories as a disabled individual, and I feel like other disabled individuals shouldn't be scared to share their stories as well, because we all have one.
Okay. Hi, my name is Cass. What my mom told me to do, that's what teens say. I was really nervous, but I was excited, and I made some great friends while I was there too when we did the activities, and I was super excited when I got to share my story because it was a great outlet and it helped me boost my confidence. Yeah.
Starting this program, I was really nervous because I was told that I wouldn't be able to use my phone for 3 days with countless of hours and working with people I didn't know. But after this program, I've definitely connected with new people and people I didn't expect to meet, and I grew more confidence in myself, and I am able to tell my story without being as nervous I was before.
So those are 3 of our young ladies who did our internship program last summer after finishing one of our 3-day programs. So you can go to either shesaidproject.com or that'swhatteensay.com. What we do look for is an adult, a coach, a teacher, a parent, and a counselor to nominate a girl ages 13 to 18 who you think would benefit from a weekend program like this. And then we ask that we will follow up by email and ask that teen to also fill out a short application so that they understand what it is that you've nominated them for. But we do like that twofold, where it's an adult nomination and a teen application, so that there's full understanding of the commitment. And then we will communicate by email. So all of the nomination application information is available on the website today. Any questions?
I don't have time for questions.
Okay.
All right. So let's give them another round of applause. So JR is going to come and talk real quick about some. So if you guys can give us about 10 minutes. We're running a little tight on time, but JR's here.
Thanks, Tracy. I'll be quick. Can I get that clicker? So I'm here to talk about Feeding Champaign County, Addressing Food Access and Security. This is a food summit we're planning for April 18th. It's going to be from 9 to 4 p.m. At City Center at the Illini Terminal here in Champaign. So our goal is to bring together folks from all areas of food access and food security to better understand what is working, what needs support, and what is missing from our Champaign County food system. Why? Has anyone here experienced hunger? Not like the I'm hungry for lunch and let's make a sandwich hunger, but like I'm hungry, I don't know if we're gonna eat, a meal today. Has anyone experienced that? Raise the hands. It's okay to talk about it. Yeah, right, so it's a real thing. It's a real problem. There's a few hands here, but there's a lot of people that are hungry in our community, and we want to better support them. The work being done in food access and security can be tribalized, and what we mean by that is that we all are working on it. We're trying to help each other, but we don't know necessarily the things that work here, and we're not sharing that information. So we're trying to bring people together to work better to support people who are hungry and avoid overlapping efforts. That's an extra slide. So we aim to help bring food access and security to our neighbors in need by working together. We're planning to have this food summit where in the morning we're having a crash course series of specific topics focused around food security, and in the afternoon we'll be doing a workshop session. And we hope to better understand not only the ways we're working to support food, but the actual food ecosystem, the food sphere or the foodscape, so that we know more about where our food is coming from and how to best get that to people. Our team here, if you could stand up if you're here, Aaron Dill, Bev Baker, Blake Hackler, Camille Burt, Helene Colleen, Jancy Harris, myself, Monica Turchin, Tomas Delgado, Tracy Barkley, Tracy Bolden Walters, and Valerie Corris. If you have questions, there's no time now, but after the meeting we'll be all around a little bit. Or if you're wanting to be a part of this and you haven't received an invitation to this event, you're working in food access and security, please come to one of us and we'll try to put you on our list so that we can invite you. Thank you so much for your time. Let's talk about food.
All right. So obviously really important work. So we're going to ask our League of Women Voters team to come on up. Tim is going to talk about buying bricks for African American Heritage Trail.
I'll be quick. So I'm with Visit Champaign County, but we are working with a committee of community members on the Champaign County African American Heritage Trail. If you haven't heard of it, talk to me afterward. Happy to talk. One of our big projects we're working on right now is a transformation of Skelton Park in Champaign at First and Washington. There is a fundraiser going on, an opportunity to purchase a brick. You can inscribe your name on it, the name of a loved one, your organization, or a message of support. I have some flyers in the back, happy to talk, but it's a great project and a great opportunity to be part of this. So thank you very much.
And Ann President's here from League of Women Voters.
Thanks, Tracy. Everybody know there's an election coming up? Yep, okay. And it's really important because it's all local. It's all the folks that make decisions that affect us every day. There are handouts in the back that my friend Carol will help you grab if you want that will tell you all the facts. But the most important thing are the two people I have with me. These are two of our student ambassadors. They're from Central High School. And this spring, the student ambassadors registered 132 students to vote. At Champaign Central, Urbana, Tolono Unity, and University High. And in total, since the program started in the spring of 2022, the ambassadors have registered 336 students. I want to introduce you to Nessa and Faith, and they're going to tell you a little bit about their stories.
Hi, my name is Nessa Blio. I am a junior at Champaign Central and a student ambassador for the League of Women Voters. I knew nothing about the League of Women Voters when I was nominated to be an ambassador, but found more information as to what the role of student ambassador entailed. I wanted to get involved after my family and I became survivors of the Highland Park 4th of July parade mass shooting. I decided that I wanted to take real action to make a tangible difference. I am too young to use my voice at the polls, but I could encourage others to use theirs with this opportunity. I have always posted political content to my Instagram stories and used my voice on social media, but realized that this was a way for me to reach more than the couple hundred people who view my social media posts. At school, Faith and I went into classrooms to register seniors to vote. We presented nonpartisan information about registering and the process of voting. Since we are both juniors and we're talking to seniors, I was a little bit nervous that they wouldn't want to take us seriously or disregard the information we were providing because of the age difference. In reality, the seniors were very attentive and eager to learn about voting. It is very important to provide young people with accurate, nonpartisan information because they are just starting their adulthood and need to stay informed about their civic responsibility of voting. Most students are following their parents' opinions, and we are making it our responsibility to give them the resources they need to create their own opinions in their future adventures. It is important that we give them a starting starting place, and I'm so glad that I got the opportunity to do that. This experience has taught me a lot about what I can do for democracy even without being able to vote. I have learned a lot about the election process and the importance of knowledge on this topic. This program has also made me question if I'm really sure about what I wanted to do in the future, or if it might shift because of how passionate I discovered I truly am about this topic. Next year when I'm a senior, I plan to continue as a student ambassador and plan a voter registration event for my peers as well. I would love to become more involved with the league, and I also want to promote the program to other students in more schools in Champaign County so we can continue to register as many students as possible.
Hello, my name is Faith Kazadi. I am a junior and I am a student ambassador at the League of Women Voters. When my APUSH teacher, Miss Early, first introduced the flyer, I became interested because I wanted to become a lawyer later on, and I figured this would be a great way to dip my foot into more knowledge about things like law and politics. But I also just believe that the right to vote is very important, especially for the Black community. So when I learned about how many people didn't know about the importance of voting, I knew that participating in this program would give me the resources I need to figure out how to deal with this issue and spread more awareness about why more people should be voting. I've learned so much about voting in general through doing things like being an election judge and doing the registration event. I also became more informed, and it felt really good to carry on that information to seniors so that they'd be able to apply it and have that knowledge. Like Nessa, I was also worried about the seniors dismissing us because we were juniors, but they respected us and they participated in the event. This event was much of a learning curve because Nessa and I had to juggle a lot, from having meetings to condense the presentation slides, to make them more current, designing posters and registration stickers, and scheduling, and etc. But I felt that was all valuable and taught me a lot about how to juggle a big project like that. And overall, I feel like it came out very successful. And honestly, I feel it was the best way to explain to our seniors how they could be able to vote. And that was our goal. But the icing on top was to have Aaron Ammons come to our event. It was nice to see a representative from our community come and see our hard work, and he liked it a lot. If there's something I wish I had done differently, it'd be to inform more seniors about the event so that we were able to spread the message more. But the event was a great success, and I'm so grateful for the people who helped us along the way, especially Nessa, who made this a really fun event to plan. And I just wanted to say that I'm proud to be a student ambassador for the League of Women Voters.
Great job, great job. Terrific girls, hey? Yeah. Thank you, Tracy. Appreciate the time.
All right, so we know how the importance of voting. Students, you guys got to stay here and take a picture with me. So, all right, so thank you everyone for what you're doing in our community. Peace and love to you, and I'll see you next month. Thank you.